Hello everyone. Welcome to the class of Discrete Mathematical Structures 18 CS36. Today I'll be teaching a topic in Module 3, Relations and Functions. Topic name is Partial Orders and Hasse Diagrams. Myself, Dr. Madhura, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mathematics, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. Let us first see the definition for partial orders. A relation R on a set A is said to be a partial order on A if R is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive on A. So we say that any relation R on the set A is a partial order on the set A if it satisfies the following three conditions. That is, R should be reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive on the set A. We'll just recall the definitions for reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive ones. So we say that any relation R on a set A is reflexive if A comma A belongs to R for every element A belonging to the set A. So ordered pair A comma A should belong to the relation R for every element A belonging to the set A. Then we say R is reflexive. When do we say R is antisymmetric? If at all any elements A comma B, any ordered pair A comma B belongs to R and A is not equal to B, then B comma A should not belong to R. Then we say such a relation R is antisymmetric. Then thirdly, when do we say any relation R is transitive is when A comma B belongs to the relation R, B comma C belongs to relation R, then A comma C should belong to the relation R. Then we say it is transitive on the set A. Now, any set A with a partial order defined on it is called a partially ordered set or a poset. And usually this is denoted by A comma R. So if the set A satisfies the definition for partial order, then we say such a set is called poset or partially ordered set. And it is usually denoted by the pair A comma R. A is the set A and R is the relation R. Example, the relations less than or equal to on the set of all integers is a poset. Similarly, the relation greater than or equal to on the set of all integers is a partial order. So we denote Z comma less than or equal to is a poset. Similarly, Z comma greater than or equal to is a poset. Partially ordered set. Next, we will discuss the definition for total order. Let R be a partial order on a set A, then R is called a total order on A if for all x comma y belonging to the set A, either x is related to y or y is related to x. In this case, the poset A comma R is called a totally ordered set. So we have the condition that R is a total order. Firstly, it should be a partial order on the set A. Once it satisfies that it is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive, we will look into another important condition that either x should be related to y or y should be related to x for every element x comma y belonging to the set A. In such a case, we say that the poset A comma R is called a totally ordered set. Example, the relation less than or equal to on the set of all real numbers is a total order because for any x comma y belonging to the relation R, we have either x is less than or equal to y or we can have y is less than or equal to x. So for any relation R which is on the set of all real numbers. So real numbers, comma, less than or equal to is a totally ordered set. We'll note the point that every total order is a partial order, but every partial order need not be a total order. So this is obvious due to the condition that the definition of total order says that the relation firstly should be a partial order. Then only we'll be looking at another condition for total order, either x is related to y or y is related to x. So based on that, we are concluding that every total order is a partial order, but the vice versa need not be true. Hasse diagrams. For a partial order relation on a finite set, we can draw a digraph of a partial order. So for any set which is a partial order relation on a finite set, we can always draw the digraph of the partial order. And in order to draw the partial order, draw the diagram, we apply the following conditions. Since a partial order is reflexive, at every vertex of digraph of partial order, there will be a loop. So in order to say it is partial order, it has to satisfy three conditions. That is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. So in order to say it is reflexive, since it is already a reflexive condition being satisfied, right, there will be a loop. Means all the ordered pairs like A, B, B, C, C will obviously exist, which represents a loop. So while drawing the digraph of partial order, we do not show the loops explicitly. So loops are obvious. We need not show them explicitly. It is obvious because the partial order is already a reflexive. So they will be assumed automatically. The loops will be assumed automatically. We are not going to separately draw the loops in the Hasse diagram and show it. Second condition, in the digraph of partial order, if there is an edge from vertex A to vertex B and an edge from vertex B to vertex C, then there will be an edge from vertex A to vertex C. This is because of the property of transitivity. So any partial order is already satisfying the transitivity property. That is, A is related to B and B is related to C means A is related to C. So we are not going to separately draw an edge from A to C. We need not exhibit an edge from A to C explicitly. It will be automatically understood by convention while drawing the Hasse diagram. So we consider only an edge from A to B and an edge from B to C will be considered while drawing the Hasse diagram. So an edge from A to C will be obvious. We need not show it separately because of the property transitivity. Transitive relation on R. And the third condition is, to simplify the format of the digraph of a partial order, we represent the vertices by dots and draw the digraph in such a way that all edges point upward. We take care that while drawing the edges, we draw it from the bottom of the graph. So with this convention, we need not put arrows in the edges. So while we are drawing a Hasse diagram, we represent the vertices by dots and we draw the digraph by taking care that the edges are pointed upward. So from the bottom, we are going to draw the Hasse diagram towards upwards. That is what we have to take care of. So the digraph of a partial order drawn by adopting the conventions indicated above is called a Poset diagram or the Hasse diagram for the partial order. So when we take care of these three conditions and draw with all these above conventions, if we draw a diagram or a graph, which is called a digraph of the partial order, then such a digraph is called the Poset diagram or the Hasse diagram for the partial order. So firstly, it should be a partial order. Once it is a partial order, we will be able to take care of these three conditions and draw the Hasse diagram. Now, let us see problems on partial orders and Hasse diagram. Problems on partial orders and Hasse diagram. Problems on partial orders and Hasse diagram. So first question, let R be a relation on the set. Let R be a relation on the set A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Defined by X is related to Y if and only if X divides Y. X divides Y. Prove that A comma R is a poset. A comma R is a poset. Draw its Hasse diagram. Draw its Hasse diagram. Let us see the solution. So first we will write down the relation R given for us. So R is given as X comma Y, the ordered pair X comma Y, such that each element X and Y belongs to the set A and X divides Y. X divides Y. So this is how the relation R is defined for us. So let us first write down all the elements or all the ordered pairs of the set of the relation R. So R is equal to, we will write down all the ordered pairs which satisfies the condition X divides Y. Correct? So we have from the set A 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 divides 1, no? 1 divides 1, 2 divides 2, 3 divides 3, 4 divides 4. So whichever element I pick from capital A, the set A, every element divides by itself. So I can obviously write down that 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Right? So I'll write down that elements. So 1, 1. And then later we will write down 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Once it comes to 2, I would like to go in an order. So can I say 1 divides 2? 1, 2? Yes, 1 divides 2. Now, what is the meaning of this 1 divides 2 in general is, when I perform 2 divided by 1, it should be a whole number. It should be an integer. Correct? So that is the meaning of X divides Y. X divides Y means, or 1 divides 2 means, when I perform 2 divided by 1, I should have a integer value. So 1 divides 2. Next, we can also write down 1 divides 3, 1 divides 4. So 1 divides every element of the set A. So with 1, the work is over. So I'll just put a tick here for your reference. Then we have starting with 2. I cannot write down 2, 1. I cannot write down 2, 1 because 2 does not divide 1. 2 does not divide 1 because if I write down 2, 1, it is meaning that 1 divided by 2. 1 divided by 2 is half, which is not an integer. So we will not include 2, 1. So we can write down 2, 2, no? 2 divides 2. Then can I write down 2, 4? 2, 3 I cannot write down. So can I write down 2, 4? Yes, we can write down 2, 4 because 2 divides 4. 2 divides 4 is one and the same as saying 4 divided by 2 is a whole number or an integer. Yes, 4 divided by 2 is 2 itself, which is an integer. So I can write down 2 comma 4. Next with 3 comma 1, 3 comma 2 I cannot write down, so I can directly write down 3 comma 3. So 3 divides 3 is true. Yes, 3 divides 3 is true. So we can write down 3 comma 3. 3 comma 4 I cannot write down. So with 3 the work is over. Already we completed 2. So I just put it here. Then coming on to 4. With the element 4 I am trying to do now. So 4 comma 1, 4 comma 2, 4 comma 3 does not exist. 4 divides 1 is not true. 4 divides 2 is not true. 4 divides 3 is also not true. So I can write down 4 comma 4 at last. 4 comma 4. So this is our relation R for the given condition that x divides y. X divides y. Now I have to prove that the relation R is a partial order on A. That is A comma R is a poset. So to prove A comma R is a poset, to prove this, we will have to prove 3 conditions. Firstly, we have to prove that R is a reflexive relation, then R is antisymmetric, and finally R is transitive. If I prove that the relation R is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive, then I can conclude that R is a partial order on A. So let us prove one by one. First condition, R is reflexive. Is R reflexive? Yes, looking into the relation R, we can observe that 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4 exists. Every A comma A belongs to the relation R for every element A from the set A. So that is why we can conclude R is a reflexive relation. So I write down the same thing. We observe that, or we see that A comma A belongs to the relation R for every element A belonging to the set A. So therefore R is reflexive. R is reflexive on A. So we need not write down in detail for every element. An oral observation is sufficient. If we keep on writing, suppose the set A is a bigger number of set having more number of elements, then it will become very tedious for us to check for every element and write down, no? So we will just make it a oral observation and we can directly conclude according to the definition. Now the second condition is for antisymmetric. It says that if A comma B belongs to R and A is not equal to B, then B comma A should not belong to the relation R. If so, we can conclude R is antisymmetric on A. So let us do that observation once again here. I have to consider this condition for A not equal to B. In the elements that you have considered in the relation R, A should not be equal to B. So I have to consider for 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 like that. I should not consider it for 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay. So it says that if 1 comma 2 belongs to R and 1 is not equal to 2, then 2 comma 1 should not belong to R. Yes, we observe 2 comma 1 does not belong to the relation R. Similarly, 1 comma 3 belongs to R and we observe 3 comma 1 does not belong to R. 1, 4 belongs to R whereas 4 comma 1 does not belong to relation R. 2 comma 4 belongs to relation R whereas 4 comma 2 does not belong. So that is why we can conclude for every element A comma B belonging to the relation R and A is not equal to B, we see that B comma A does not belong to the relation R. We'll just write down the same thing. If A comma B belongs to R and A is not equal to B, then we observe that B comma A does not belong to R. So therefore R is anti-symmetric. R is anti-symmetric on A. Now the third condition is for transitivity. We are all familiar with transitivity condition already in the previous topic. So we will just see that how is the transitivity condition. If A is related to B and B is related to C, then A must be related to C. We'll just observe once again here. 1, 1, 1, 2 belongs to R. So 1, 2 should belong to R. Yes, it is belonging. 1, 1, 1, 3. So 1, 3. 1, 1, 1, 4. So 1, 4. With 1, 1, that's all. So I'll just put a tick here for reference. Then 1, 2 belongs to R. 2, 2 belongs to R. So 1, 2, 2, 2 gives us 1, 2, which is already existing in R. 1, 2, 2, 4 gives us 1, 4, which is there in R. So with 1, 2, that's all. I'll just put a tick. 1, 3, 3, 3. This is ending with 3. Look into an element starting with 3. So 1, 3, 3, 3 gives us 1, 3, which is existing. So 1, 3 work is over. Similarly, 1, 4. 1, 4, 4, 4 belongs to R. So 1, 4 also belongs to R. So 1, 4 work is over. Then we have 2, 2. This is ending with 2. Starting with 2 I have to look into. So 2, 2, 2, 4 belongs to R, which gives me 2, 4. 2, 4, which is existing. So 2, 2 work is over. Then we have 2, 4, 4, 4. 2, 4, 4, 4 gives us 2, 4. 2, 4 is existing and hence 2, 4 work is done. 3, 3. This is ending with 3. There is no other element other than this starting with 3. So 3, 3 work is done and similarly 4, 4 work is done. So we observe that for every element A, B belongs to R and B, C belongs to R, we see that A, C belongs to R. So we can now conclude that it is transitive. R is transitive. So we'll write down the same thing. If A, B belongs to R and B, C belongs to R, then we see that A, C belongs to R. For every element A, B, C belonging to R. Therefore, R is transitive on A. R is transitive on A. So we observe that the three conditions for poset is satisfied. R is reflexive, R is antisymmetric, R is transitive. Thus we can conclude that R is a poset, partially ordered set on A. R is a partial order on A, which is same as writing A, R is a poset. A, R is a poset. So now we have to draw the Hasse diagram for the same. Correct? Looking into the relation R, we will be drawing the Hasse diagram, and while drawing the Hasse diagram, we take care of the three conditions what we discussed in the theory. So let us draw the Hasse diagram for the same. Hasse diagram. So firstly, we need to draw the vertices one by one, starting from the bottom. Starting from the bottom, we will draw the graph usually. Okay. So I will consider here the vertex 1. Vertex 1. So starting from 1, we observe the relation R here. First element, first ordered pair is 1, 1. So 1, 1 represents a loop. Means you have to draw an edge from 1 to 1. You have to draw a loop actually. But according to the Hasse diagram conditions, a loop is obvious. Because the relation R satisfies the partial order on A, it is reflexive always. And hence, the loop will be obvious. The loop will be obvious. We will not explicitly show it in the Hasse diagram. That is what we checked in the condition 1 of the theory. Correct, no? So we are not going to draw a loop. It is obvious, which represents 1, 1. Next we have 1, 2. We will draw 1, 2. Means from 1 to 2 there should be an edge. So 1 to 2 means it is drawn from the bottom. If you remember the third condition says that all your edges are directed upward. All your edges are directed upward. Correct, no? They are directed upward. So it is obvious that from 1 to 2 there is an edge. The direction need not be explicitly written. Okay. This is the vertex 1 for us. Next 1, 3. So 1, 3 means 1 to 3 there should be an edge. So from 1 I will draw an edge to 3. I will draw an edge to 3. So 1 to 3 there is an edge. Again the edge is drawn upward, which is obvious. Now for time being I will leave this 1, 4. For time being only I am trying to leave this 1, 4. I will just circle it for your reference. Okay. For time being I have left this 1, 4. Why I will let you know in a while very soon. Okay. Now we will move ahead with 2, 2. 2, 2 is obvious because it represents a loop. So it is obvious we will not show the loop explicitly. Then we have 2, 4. From 2 there should be an edge to 4. So I will draw an edge from 2 to 4. 2 to 4 I will draw an edge. I will draw an edge from 2 to 4. Next 3, 3. 3, 3 represents a loop again. So we are not drawing loop and showing it explicitly, which is obvious. So I will keep it as it is. 4, 4 also represents a loop. So we will do not draw a loop explicitly and show it once again. Okay. Now the leftover ordered pair, which I had circled, that is 1, 4. 1, 4. I need not draw an edge explicitly. Separately, I need not draw an edge from 1 to 4 because of the transitivity property. There is an edge from 1 to 2. There is an edge from 2 to 4. So 1 to 4 is obvious. 1 in the 4 here, it's an obvious edge from 1 to 4. So we will not draw it explicitly and show it in the Hasse diagram. It is one of the conditions that we learned in the Hasse diagram. So what are the 3 conditions that we had learned in the Hasse diagram conditions theory? First one was drawing a loop is obvious. We will not show it explicitly in the Hasse diagram. Second one is nothing but the transitivity property. If A is related to B and B is related to C, A is directly related to C, we will not draw an edge separately and show it. That was our second condition based on the transitivity property. And the third condition was we do not draw an arrow across the edges. Correct? See, when I have drawn 1 to 2, there is an edge. We always read the Hasse diagram from the bottom of the graph, of the digraph. We do not show the arrows separately. So 1 to 2 there is an edge means it is obvious. 2, 1 we don't read the graph downward like this. So 2, 1 does not exist. 3, 1 does not exist. 4, 2 does not exist in the relation R. So drawing edges will be avoided just on the condition that we draw the diagram from bottom to up. Okay. So based on this is our Hasse diagram for the given relation R. That is a condition that X is related to Y if and only if X divides Y. We'll see the next problem. Second one. Let A be the set given as 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, On A, on the set A, define the partial ordering, define the partial ordering relation R by X is related to Y if and only if X divides Y. This is a symbol for divides. This is, this, how do we read this as X divides Y. This is just a standing line. Prove that R is a partial order on A. Draw the Hasse diagram. Draw the Hasse diagram for R. Draw the Hasse diagram for R. So given set A equal to, which consists of the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12. On R, define the partial ordering relation R, which is related in this manner that X divides Y. We have to first prove that it is a partial order on A. Only when we have proved that it is a partial order only, we will be able to draw the Hasse diagram for R. So let us see the solution part. So it is similar to the previous problem, only difference is we have a different set A given for us. So let us see solution. So first we will write down the relation R. So here also R is defined as the ordered pair X comma Y such that X and Y both belongs to the set A, and it is given that X divides Y. X divides Y. So let us write down the relation R first. So R equal to, can we write down 1, 1? 1 divides 1. 1 divides 2. 1, 3. 1, 4. 1, 6. 1, 8. 1, 12. 1, 12. With 1, that's all. And starting with 2, I cannot write down 2 comma 1 because 2 does not divide 1. So I have to write down 2, 2. 2, 2. I cannot write down 2 comma 3. So I have to go ahead 2 comma 4. 2 divides 4, no? 2 divides 4 because when I perform 4 divided by 2, it should be a whole number or a integer. Correct? So 2 comma 4. 2 comma 6 also we can write down, no? 2 comma 6, 2 comma 8, then 2 comma 12. 2 divides each of these even numbers. 2 work is over. Now we will move ahead to 3. So 3 comma 1, 3 comma 2 I cannot write down because 3 does not divide 1 and 3 does not divide 2. 3, 3 I have to write down. 3, 3. 3, 4 I cannot write. 3, 6 is true. 3, 8 does not exist. 3, 12 is true. 3 divides 12. Next, can I write down 4 comma 4? 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3 is not existing here in the relation R. So 4, 4 is our next ordered pair. 4, 6 I cannot write down, but I can write 4, 8, 4, 12. 4, 8, 4, 12. Next, starting with 6, I have to write down 6, 6 only. 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4 does not exist because 6 does not divide 1, 6 does not divide 2, etc. So 6, 6 is the first element. I cannot write down 6 divides 8. So I can next write 6 comma 12. Yes, 6 divides 12. Next, we have 8 comma 8. Correct? Starting with 8, that is the only element. 8, 1, 8, 2, 8, 3, 8, 4, 8, 6 does not exist. Then 8, 8. 8, 12 I cannot write down because 8 does not divide 12. So with 8, the work is over. Finally, with 12, it's only 12 comma 12. So this is our relation R. Now we have to prove that R is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. to prove it is partial order on A. Is R reflexive? Yes, R is reflexive because all the ordered pairs 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, 8, 12, 12 exists. So for all A belonging to the set A comma A belongs to R. So that is why R is reflexive. So we can write on the same thing. For all A belonging to the set A, we see that A comma A belongs to the relation R. Therefore, R is reflexive. Now the second condition is based on antisymmetric. Antisymmetric. Now we have to look antisymmetric for different elements. We are not looking for the same elements, that is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, etc. We look for different elements. Condition says that if 1, 2 belongs to R and 1 is not equal to 2, then 2, 1 should not belong to R. Yes, we observe that 2, 1 does not belong to R. Similarly, if 1, 3 belong to R, 3, 1 should not be there in R. 1, 4 belongs to R, 4, 1 is not existing in R. So like that, we have to orally observe for every elements A not equal to B of the relation R. That it satisfies the condition that if 4, 8 belongs to R, 8, 4 does not belong to R. This should be satisfied for all A not equal to B. It is true, it is being satisfied, so we can conclude it is antisymmetric. So we write down the same thing. If A comma B belongs to R and A is not equal to B, we see that B comma A does not belong to R. Does not belong to R. So therefore, R is antisymmetric. Next, the third condition. Third condition is for transitivity. Recall the definition. If AB belongs to R and BC belongs to R, then A comma C should belong to R. Correct? So 1, 1, 1, 2 belongs, so 1, 2 belongs. 1, 1, 1, 3 implies 1, 3, which belongs. 1, 1, 1, 4 implies 1, 4, which belongs. 1, 1, 1, 6 implies 1, 6, which belongs. Similarly, it happens for 1, 1, 1, 8 and 1, 1, 1, 12. Moving ahead to 2, 2. 2, 2, 2, 4 gives us 2, 4, which is there in R. 2, 2, 2, 4 gives us 2, 6, which is there in R. Similarly, I can observe it 2, 4, 4, 4. 2, 4, 4, 4 gives us 2, 4. 2, 6, 6, 6 gives us 2, 6. 2, 6, 6, 12 gives us 2, 12, which is there in R. 2, 8, 8, 8 gives us 2, 8. 2, 12, 12, 12 gives us 2, 12, which is there in R. 3, 3, 3, 12 gives us 3, 12. 3, 3, 3, 6 gives us 3, 6, which is there in R. Then 3, 6, 6, 12 gives us 3, 12, which is there in R. So like that, we can observe for all the elements that it is satisfying the property of transitivity. It is just a oral observation always, and we put the definition. Because for the ordered pairs existing in the R, we cannot keep on writing for everything. It becomes very tedious. So we just avoid all of them. We just do the oral observation and conclude that it is transitive. So what is the condition? If A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, then we see that A comma C belongs to R. Therefore, R is transitive. Since R is reflexive, antisymmetric and transitive, we can conclude that A comma R is a poset. This is one and the same as writing R is a partial order on A. R is a partial order on A is same as saying A comma R is a poset. Now we will draw the Hasse diagram for the same. Hasse diagram. I have on the set A, I have these elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12. So these are the elements of the set A, no? So looking into the elements of the set A, we have to draw all these should be denoted as a vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 are the vertices of the digraph. Correct, no? So based on the same, we have to draw the Hasse diagram now. So let us draw the Hasse diagram. First I will write down 1 at the bottom. 1 at the bottom we will write down. Starting from 1, I have 1 comma 1 in the relation R. 1 comma 1 represents a loop which is obvious. So we will not represent it explicitly in the Hasse diagram. Then we have 1 comma 2. We will draw 1 to 2. There is an edge. So 1 to 2, I have drawn an edge. Then 1 comma 3 we can see. So 1 comma 2 I have done it. So I'll just put a tick across 1 comma 2. Then I have 1 comma 3. So I will draw 1 comma 3. 1 comma 3 I have drawn an edge. Then we have 1 comma 4. 1 comma 4. So time being I will leave this 1 comma 4. So how will we predict that? We have 1 comma 2, we have 2 comma 4. So 1 to 2, 2 to 4 will indirectly give us 1 comma 4. So time being I am dropping out 1 comma 4. I am dropping out 1 comma 4. Then I have 1 comma 6. Again 1 comma 6 I can drop out because I observe 1 comma 3 and 3 comma 6 exists. 1 3 3 6 gives us 1 6 transitivity property. So 1 6 I need not drop. So I can drop out this. This circling I am doing just for your reference. Okay, you need not do it. For your reference I am just circling these ordered pairs. Now next is 1 comma 8. Again 1 comma 8 will be obvious because there will be an edge from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. Correct? So that is why 1, 8 will be obvious. I repeat, there will be an edge from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. So 1, 8 will be obvious. So we need not show it explicitly. We are not supposed to draw extra number of edges in the Hasse diagram. The minimum number of edges satisfying the transitivity property should be drawn. Then I have 1 comma 12. Again 1 comma 12 I need not draw explicitly because 1 to 3, 3 to 6, then 6 to 12. Correct? So 1 comma 3, 3 comma 6, 6 comma 12 will indirectly give us 1 comma 12. Again transitivity property. So we will not show 1 comma 12 explicitly. Okay. Now the next one is 2 comma 2. 2 comma 2 is obvious because it's a loop. We will not show it explicitly. Then we have 2 comma 4. We have to draw this 2 comma 4. So we'll draw it in the Hasse diagram. Two to 4, there is an edge. So 2 comma 4 work is over. Then we have 2 comma 6. 2 comma 6 I have to draw, correct? Because there is no separate link towards 6. So I have to draw that 2 comma 6. So 2 to 6 I will draw it here so that 3 comma 6 also can be drawn, can be joined. So 3 to 6 I am drawing and showing it for you. So 3 to 6, this is the edge, vertex 6 for us. So what is that we did now? 2 comma 6 we did and 3 comma 6 we did. So 2 comma 6 and 3 comma 6 both are considered. Next we have 2 comma 8. 2 comma 8 I need not draw explicitly because 2 4 4 8. 2 4 4 8 gives us 2 8. So I will not draw this explicitly. Next we have 2 12. 2 12 again I need not draw it explicitly because 2 4 4 12. 2 4 4 12 gives us 2 comma 12. Next is 3 comma 3, a loop is obvious. Don't draw. 3 comma 6 is already done. 3 to 6 I have already drawn an edge. Correct? I have already drawn an edge and shown to you 3 to 6. Then we have 3 comma 12. 3 comma 12 we did not draw explicitly because 3 to 6, 6 to 12. 3 to 6, 6 to 12 gives us 312. Gives us 312. So 6 to 12 I will draw it and show to you. 312 I can explicitly understood. 612 I am drawing and showing it to you. This is 12, 6 to 12. So did you observe 3 to 6, 6 to 12 is obviously giving us 3 to 12. Next we have 4 comma 4 which is a loop obvious. So I need not show it once again. Then we have 4 comma 8. Yes, I have to draw this 4 comma 8. So from 4 to 8 I will draw an edge. From 4 to 8 I will draw an edge. So 4 4 is done, 4 8 is done. Next we have 4 comma 12. 4 comma 12 I have to draw an edge because nowhere it is linked. We are not coming downward. 4 to 2, 2 to 6 to 6 to 12 you cannot say. We will not consider any of the edges of the Hasse diagram from top to bottom. So I cannot come down from 4 to 2. So 4 to 12 I have to draw an edge. Next 6 comma 6 which is a loop which is obvious. 6 comma 12 is already done. Already I have drawn it. So it's already over. 8 8 is a loop. 12 12 is a loop which are obvious. So we need not draw them explicitly and show it. Okay. So this is how we consider and write down the Hasse diagram. So this is the Hasse diagram for the given relation R, that is x divides y, for the given set A. For the given set A, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 and 12. And the important key point is you can draw two vertices on the same line in such a way that they are not related to each other. 2 comma 3 is not related to each other, no, that's why I can draw them on the same horizontal line. 4 comma 6 are not related to each other, that's why I can draw them on the same horizontal line. 8 comma 12 is not related to each other, that's why I can draw it on the same horizontal line. Okay, so just for your reference I'll rewrite the Hasse diagram once again to you, right? I'll write it neatly. So this is the required Hasse diagram for us. Hope you understood this problem. We'll see third problem now. Draw the Hasse diagram representing the positive divisors, representing the positive divisors of 36, representing the positive divisors of 36. So when we say positive divisors of 36, we assume the relation R as X is related to Y if and only if X divides Y. So set of all divisors we are considering, positive divisors we are considering. So we denote the set of all positive divisors of 36 by D36. So let us first write down them. The set of all positive divisors, the set of all positive divisors of 36 are D36, which is nothing but the set A here, which is given by 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 is divisible by 36, 2 is divisible by 36, 3 is divisible by 36, 4 is divisible by 36. We cannot take 5 now. Then we will move on to 6. 7 is not possible, 8 is not possible, 9. Then we have 12, correct? Then divisors of 36 we are looking forward. So next one will be 18, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and all not possible. So 18. Then we have 36 itself. Correct? So how can we easily do this is, we just recall the multiples of 36. So 1 into 36 is possible. 2 into 18 gives us 36. 3 into 12 gives us 36. 4 into 9 gives us 36. And 6 into 6 gives us 36. That is the easiest way of looking forward for positive divisors of 36. Now, the relation R of divisibility, the relation R of divisibility, that is A is related to B if and only if A divides B. A divides B is a partial order, on this set. We can also take X is related to Y if and only if X divides Y. I just took the elements A comma B, that's all. Okay. So how are we concluding that this relation of divisibility is a partial order on this set is, we just looked into the last two problems wherein X divides Y is satisfying the elements. So we took the divisibility or the divisors of 36 and we have already written, no? So it is obvious that this relation R is a partial order on this set. Okay, so now we will write down the relation R for this. So relation R can be written for the same. So how to write down divisibility? We have seen the last two problems also, no? So based on the same thing, we can write down the divisibility. We know that 1 is related to 1, 1 is related to 2, 1 is related to 3, etc. up to 36. So we have already seen that 1 divides 2, 1 divides 3, 1 divides 4, etc. So same thing is applicable here. So firstly 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 1 4, and then 1 6, 1 9, 1 12, 1 18, and 136. 136. So with 1, I have written all the elements from the set A or D36, that is positive divisors of 36. Okay. Then with 2, we have to write down now, based on the divisibility, we have to write down A divides B is the divisibility condition for us. So how can I write down that? I cannot write down 2 comma 1 because 2 does not divide 1. 1 divided by 2 when I perform, it is not a integer. So that is why we don't write down 2 comma 1. So we have 2 comma 2, 2 comma 2 followed by 2 comma 4, 2 comma 6, 2 4, 2 6, then we have 2 12, 2 18, 2 36. Next we start with 3, so it is 3 comma 3 first, then 3 6, 3 9, 3 12, 3 18, 3 36. So 3 is related to all these elements, 3 3, 3 6, 3 9, 3 12, 3 18, and then 3 36. Next with 4 we have to write down. So it is 4 comma 12 first. Correct? No? 4 comma 12. Then 4 comma 36. Okay, I have to write down 4 comma 4 also. 4 comma 4 is related to 4. So don't forget that every element is related to itself on the divisibility relation. So 4, 4, 4, 12, 4, 36. Then coming on to 6, I can write down. It is 6 comma 6, 6 comma 12, 6 comma 18, and then 6 comma 36. 6 comma 36. Then starting with 9, we have 9, 9, 9, 18, then 9, 36. Then we can take the next element, that is 12, that is 12 comma 12 and 12 comma 36. A is related to B if and only if A divides B is the symbol for us. So keeping that in mind, we are writing all these ordered pairs, right? Next with 18 we are doing. So it is 18 comma 18 and then 18 comma 36. And lastly 36 comma 36. 36 is related to itself. So don't forget to write down the ordered pairs 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, etc. because every element is related to itself on the divisibility relation. Correct? So this is our relation R. So we need to draw only the Hasse diagram for this. They have asked us only to write down the Hasse diagram. It is obvious that based on the divisibility relation, the partial order, it is a partial order. Relation R is a partial order on divisibility. So that is why we just write down the Hasse diagram. To write down the Hasse diagram, relation R is going to help us. Right? So let's draw the Hasse diagram now. Diagram. We'll always start the diagram from the bottommost. So this is our vertex 1 for us. Correct? Starting with 1, 1, 1 is a loop which is obvious. So we will draw 1 to 2. 1 to 2, there is an edge. So 1, 1 is over, 1, 2 is over. Then we will move to 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 6, 1, 9. So we need to write down all these. So 1, 3 I will next consider. So 1, 2, 3 there is an edge. 1, 2, 3 there is an edge. Okay. Next we will consider the remaining by just 1 comma 3 is over. So 1, 4. So I will not be drawing 1, 4 because 1 comma 4, 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 4 will indirectly give us 1 comma 4. So I will be ignoring 1 comma 4. Okay. Then 1, 6. Again I will not be drawing 1, 6 because 1, 2, 2, 2 to 6 gives us 1, 6. So we will not draw 1 comma 6. Then what about this 1 comma 9? So 1 comma 9 also we need not draw. The next element 1 comma 9 we need not draw directly because 1 comma 3 and 3 comma 9 gives us 1 comma 9. 1, 3, 3, 9 gives us 1, 9. Next 1, 12. Again 1, 12 I need not draw because 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 12 indirectly gives us 1 comma 12. So 1 comma 12 we need not draw. Then 1 comma 18 also we need not draw because 1, 3, 3, 9, 9, 18. So like that it can be linked, no? 1, 3, 3, 9, 9, 18 gives us 118. So I will not be drawing 1 comma 18. Next 136 will also be not drawn because it will be indirectly related again with the transitivity property. 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 12, 12, 36, all those elements exist here, no? So all that will fetch me directly 136. Okay. So now we will move on to the next element 2, 2. 2, 2 is a loop, will not be shown explicitly. Then we need to now draw 2 comma 4. So 2 to 4 I will draw an edge. 2 to 4 I will draw an edge. Okay. So 2, 2 and 2, 4 are over. 2, 6. 2, 6 I have to draw an edge, no? Because see we observe that 2 comma 6 is nowhere related. 1, 2, 2, 6 is not there. Correct? 1, 2, 2, 6 is not there. So 2, 6 should be directly written an edge. So 2 to 6, let us write down an edge. 2 to 6. Next we have 2, 12. 2, 12 I will not draw because I have 2 to 4. If I take the link from 4 to 12, it will give me 2, 12. It will give me 2, 12. So I will not draw this 2, 12. Next again 2, 18. 2, 18 I need not draw because 2 to 6 there is an edge. 6 to 18 there will be an edge later which I have to consider. So 2, 18 will not be considered. Next we have 236. 236 also will not be linked directly because 2 to 4, 4 to 12, 12 to 36 will be considered later. So 236 will not be drawn. Next we have 3, 3 which represents a loop which will not be drawn explicitly. Now I have to go to 3, 6. 3, 6 I have to draw an edge. So join the vertices 3 to 6. So you will get this edge. This is about 3, 6. Next we have 3 to 9. 3, 9 we have to consider. So from 3 to 9 we draw an edge now. This is an edge from 3 to 9. 3 to 9 is over. Next we have 3, 12. 3, 12 I need not draw because 3 to 6 there is an edge. 6 to 12 there will be drawn an edge. So 3, 12 I will not draw a separate edge. 3, 18 I will not draw a separate edge again because 3 to 6, 6 to 18 will be considered. So that is why 3, 18 also I will not be drawing. Then 3, 36 will also be not drawn. 3 to 6, 6 to 18, 18 to 36 can be considered. So that is the reason 3, 36 will also be not drawn. The next is 4, 4. 4, 4 is a loop which is obvious. So we will not show it explicitly. Then we have 4, 12. Yes, I have to draw an edge from 4 to 12. So 4 to 12 we will draw an edge. This represents the edge from 4 to 12. Okay. Right. So 4 to 12 I have drawn an edge. Next I have 4, 36. So 4, 36 I need not draw because 4 to 12 there is an edge. 12 to 36 will be drawn an edge. So 4, 12 I will 4, 36 I will not draw. I'll just round it off. 6, 6 is a loop which is obvious. We will not explicitly show it. Next 6, 12 I have to draw. So I have to join an edge from 6 to 12. Already there is a vertex 12. Already there is a vertex 6. I have to just join these two. So 6 to 12 there will be an edge. There will be an edge. So 6, 6 is obvious. 6, 12 is drawn. Next will be 6, 18. 6, 18. So from 6, 18 I have to draw an edge because there will be no link. 12, 18 will not be there. So 6 to 12 itself will be the direct link for this. So 6 to 18 I have drawn. Right. Next we have 6, 36. 6, 36 we need not draw it explicitly because 6 to 18, 18 to 36 will give us 6, 36. So I'll just round it off. 9, 9. It's a loop. We will not show the loops explicitly. So it's over. 9, 18. Yes, we have to join the edge from 9 to 18. We'll join the edge from 9 to 18. Okay. 9 to 18. So this work is over. 9 to 18. 9, 36. 9, 36 I need not show explicitly because 9 to 18, 18 to 36 gives us this. So 9, 36 is not shown explicitly. 12, 12 is a loop. We need not show it separately. 12, 36. 12 to 36 we have to join an edge. So 12 to 36 I will take and draw an edge. This is 12, 36. Then we have 18, 18 which is a loop which is obvious. We will not draw it. 18, 36 we have to join the edge and show it. 18 to 36. Then lastly 36, 36 is loop which is obvious. So this is the Hasse diagram for us. This is the Hasse diagram which represents the positive divisors of 36. Hope you have followed this problem. We'll take up the next question, fourth one. Fourth one, given the set A for A equal to A, B, C, D, E, the Hasse diagram for the poset A comma R is as shown below. So Hasse diagram is given for us. Okay, so we'll just write down the Hasse diagram given for us. So this is the Hasse diagram given. These are the vertices mentioned: A, B, C, D, E. These are the vertices mentioned for us. We are asked to determine the relation matrix. Determine the relation matrix for R. And second sub-question is construct the digraph for R. Construct the digraph for R. So given the Hasse diagram, we have to first write down the matrix relation for R, and then we have to construct the digraph for R. Hope we remember how to construct the digraph and how to write down the matrix for the relation R. So let us do the solution first. So given the digraph, given the Hasse diagram, first we have to write down the relation looking into the Hasse diagram. Only when we write the relation R, it will be helpful for us to do the first and the second subpart of the problem. Okay, so let us write down the relation R associated. How do we look into the diagram and write down the relation? Recall the basic properties of the Hasse diagram. So all the loops are obvious, that is A, B, B, C, C, D, D, and E, E. These are obvious because if we at all we have to draw a Hasse diagram, it has to satisfy the definition for partial order. The definition for partial order says that R has to be reflexive. So since R has to be reflexive, the pairs like AA, BB, CC, DD, EE are obvious in the relation R, which will be not represented in the Hasse diagram. Correct? No? So we will write down that. So we'll go in an order as usual. It will help us a lot when we go in a particular order with the vertices. It will help us to understand and write down clearly without any confusion, without any repetition, or without any leaving of some of the vertices, ordered pairs. Okay, so first I will write down starting with A, loop is obvious. Next we see that A to B there is an edge, A to C there is an edge. So I can write down AB and AC. Next, since A to B and B to D there is an edge, due to transitivity property, we can write down A comma D also, no? I repeat, since A to B there is an edge and B to D there is an edge, A comma D also is obvious. The ordered pair A comma D is obvious due to the transitivity property. So next one will be A comma D. Now what about A comma E? Yes, we can write down A comma E also. Indirectly A and E are connected. So A to B, B to D there is an edge. D to E also there is an edge. So A comma E also is obvious. Again this is transitivity property applying twice. So with A it is connected to all the vertices. So I have written all of them. Now A work is over, we will start with B. Now B comma B. Loop, representing the loop is always to be considered. Now we cannot write down B comma A because in the Hasse diagram, we will always consider the edges pointing upward. So A to B there is an edge, but B to A there is no edge. The arrows will not be mentioned, but it should be understood while drawing Hasse diagram. We assume the diagram from bottom to up. So A comma B there is an edge, but B to A there is no edge. So we are not supposed to write down B comma A. And B to C there is no edge at all, so we don't write it. Next, BD. Yes, B to D there is an edge which is pointing upward. Then can we also write down B comma E? Yes, we can write down B to E because B to D, D to E there is an edge means B comma E. B comma E we can write down. Right? Next. With B, all the vertices marking is over. Next, we will start with C. Again, C comma A we will not write down because we will never look into downwards in the Hasse diagram. CB, there is no edge. Next will be CD, CE. C comma D, C comma E. With C, work is over. Then coming on to D. Yes, we forgot an important one. The loop is obvious in every relation of the Hasse diagram. So C comma C we should not forget. So C comma C, then CD, CE. Then we will take with D. Loop is obvious. D comma D. Then there is an edge from D to E. So D comma E. Don't go below. Starting from D, do not go below. We will always read the elements from bottom to up. Okay, so D comma D, D comma E. That's all. Next with E, it is E comma E. E comma E. So this is our relation R. Once you have written the relation R, it will be helping us very much or easy to write down the relation matrix for R and digraph for R. So first one, we will write down the matrix relation. Matrix relation. So since the set A has 5 elements, A, B, C, D, E, this will be a 5 cross 5 matrix. So I will just draw for a 5 cross 5 matrix. I will draw this, and the elements of the set A are A, B, C, D, E. So I'll just write down that beside here for reference. You can write it down in pencil so that it will help you to write down the elements. Okay. Now we will write down all the elements here which are related to each other. AA, AB, AC, AD, AE. So AA is 1, AB is 1, AC is 1, AD is 1, AE is 1. Then we have BB, BD, BB, BD, then BE. Next we have CC, CC, CD, CE, CD, CE. Then we have DD, DD, DE, and finally EE. Finally EE. The rest all elements will be zeros. Rest all elements of the matrix will be zeros. So this is how we write on the Hasse diagram. This is how we write on the matrix relation. Hope you remember this we had discussed in the last topic. The element which is related to the other element will be associated with 1. If there is no relation between those two, then it will be associated 0. Correct? No? Then coming on to the digraph. Digraph. Let us first write down the vertices, that is A, B, C, D, E. I'll just circle them and write down. So this is A, B, C, D, E. We will now draw the edges with arrows. Digraph is a directed graph. So with arrows we have to write down looking into the relation R. A comma A. This represents a loop. Here in diagram, we will write on a loop. We have to write on a loop. In Hasse diagram, we are avoiding it. Okay. Then we have AB, AC, AD, AE. So I'll draw edges. AB, AC, AD, AE. Then we have BB, BD. BB is a loop. BD, BE. BD, BE. Then we have CC, CD. CC represents a loop. CD, CE. Here we are drawing all the edges that you see in the relation R. Okay, not like Hasse diagram. Hasse diagram, we are using transitivity and we are writing. So we will not be drawing every edge that you are seeing in the relation R. Then we have DD, DE. DD is a loop. Then D to E, there is an edge. Arrows are important here. Then finally we have EE. E to E, there is an edge. So this is how we write on the diagram of the relation. Hope you understood this problem. Thank you for watching.